So, I was on TikTok and I was having a conversation with a group of women after one of my father's rights advocate friends posted a red pill related video. Me personally, I don't look for red pill related content. I'm not a red pillar, but there are some videos where, they'll be pro father and I'm a father's rights advocate, so I might share a quote unquote red pill video every now and then. Like, there's some red pillars that I really don't agree with in terms of like how they handled their whole situation. Like Pearl, did some messed up stuff. Fresh and Fit, same thing. I used to go to their channel, sit down, and listen to them tell men to focus on themselves, and then they'll have these sessions where they're just like randomly arguing with women and bashing them and belittling them. And I figured that that wasn't going to end well for them. And then they did all kinds of crazy stuff that I couldn't get behind. And so I'm not surprised that they're on this list, but I am surprised that they're lower than the real MTR. And I feel like MTR is only number two on that list because he's gaining traction. Now with MTR, I did see some red pill content from MTR, but I don't really view him as like hardcore red pill. I just think because he basically posts content that kind of exposes the nature of some women, it can come off as women bashing. And so the feminists are definitely going to target him. And I get targeted on TikTok by feminists all the time because I'll post content. Like when I reposted the truth about the 4B movement in South Korea, I got attacked by a bunch of feminists. And I said, hey, I'm not against you guys. If you guys don't want to deal with men, then that's fine. I don't need people who don't want to deal with each other dealing with each other and then ending up in family court. Like, it sucks if you're a man and you're in family court versus a feminist and you're not a feminist yourself, because some men are feminists. And I generally don't get along with a lot of feminist men because they don't like fathers' right advocates, because they feel like if you're a fathers' rights advocate, you're going to make the excuse that the court system is biased against men, which it's not an excuse. It's a real deal thing. It's not in every case, though. So I think some people do get carried away with saying that the courts are biased all the time. Definitely don't use it to not fight for custody. I went and fought for custody. It cost me a lot of money. Maybe not a lot compared to the men who are spending thousands, like 100,000, maybe a million in some cases, but it does cost more than the waiver fees that some women were saying. I've there's so many like feminist women on TikTok and they're easily triggered. I'm blocked by so many, and even feminist men like the public defender who or offender, which is crazy to me because of his name. I'm thinking, I could have a conversation with somebody like him, but there's a lot of male feminists that I don't get along with because they're male feminists and they naturally don't like men, even though they're men, which is crazy to me. So this whole FBI thing and this group, Divert Hate or whatever you want to call this group, they're basically targeting anyone who is pro-man. A lot of these platforms, yes, they do occasionally hate on women. Obviously, Fresh and Fit definitely belong on there and Pearly Things. But some of the stuff that they say is definitely true. A lot of these platforms, they're going to say some misleading things thinking that they're true because they don't do their research as they should. But that's on any side. That's even with feminists, which feminism is okay. You're never going to see feminism on any FBI watch list as far as I know, because that's kind of what's being pushed right now. There's a lot of boys that are being converted to male feminists, and men are trying to convert a lot of other men. I've seen men say that men need to be more feminine, not more masculine, which is crazy to me. I think, the term toxic masculinity, it's kind of overused. I'm not going to say it's not a thing. It's just overused. Like, it's weird that if you are pushing the idea that you need to be a manly man, it's only good if it benefits women. If it just benefits you as a man, meaning that you're locked in and focused on your career and being successful, it's not going to be a good thing because they're looking at you like, we need you to not be privy to certain shit that women try to pull, because women are just generally painted in a really good light, and if you say the honest truth and say that some women are bad, you might end up on this list, which is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. You cannot say anything bad about women or else you will be on this list. Steph is Cole, for instance. The problem with content creation is that you probably have something on your channel that they don't like, and that's how somebody like Steph is Cold will end up on this list, because Steph is Cold is to me, a young boy that gives other young boys advice about women, because he has been through situations where he's had girlfriends that cheated on him. And so a lot of the red pill content, from what I've seen, is usually found by young men who have gone through things with women, like, you know, a girlfriend that cheated, because in society we think that all of the bad problems are just men and created by men. But a lot of these guys that are getting these red pill rage, they're coming to these red pill channels after having a breakup, which is probably the worst way to find out about red pill. And I try to tell a group of mothers that, because they're just like, oh, you know, I'm gonna teach my son to not do XYZ to women, and, you know, really not put them on game that they need to watch out for certain types of women. And then when they get burnt being the nice guy, because I've had that happen to a family friend. He was, you know, bending over backwards for this young girl, and she had other boyfriends. She had him doing crazy stuff, working OT for her, working her shift, and then she just ended up leaving him. And then all of a sudden he's talking about all this red pill content. And so red pill, when, you know, boys find out about it because they've had their hearts broken, they can go through that red pill rage. And I can see why they're worried about the red pill, because red pill, if you take in certain lessons from some of these red pill content creators, then yeah, you could definitely end up in a situation where you dislike women. I mean, even on my Instagram, when I post truthful content of like mothers doing bad things, some people will say, hey, you need to chill on that, because it you know, when you read the comment section, a lot of people do get riled up. And I'm just like, yo, it's crazy, because if you make a platform where men are doing bad things and women are getting riled up, it will not get flagged by the FBI, because women are perceived as like not a danger. So it's like, okay, men are men, so you cannot have a community where the men don't like women because of the bad things that they have done. And I would hope that if you are one of those men that are, you know, quote unquote bitter or upset with women, like, you're not upset with every woman. Like, if you don't know this woman, like, why are you mad at her? Sometimes I have to check some people, you know, when they get kind of like every woman is bad because they had an experience with a few women or one woman. So this red pill shit's not surprising to me. The end game at the end of the day is to push all of these Manosphere red pill guys out of the way, you know, try to demonetize them, and then push up platforms that are feminist and pro women, because, you know, women are, I don't know, when I talk to the women on TikTok who are feminists, they'll say, oh, you know, women are on the bottom, patriarchy, blah blah blah. So if you're talking patriarchy and pro feminist, you're gonna be going up now, because they're trying to limit all of these channels that are pro men. So it's going to be an interesting next few years, because it just seems like everything is quote unquote pro women, because we'll turn around and say that most of the systems are male dominated. Everything's male dominated. So we need to nip some of this stuff in the butt. So MTR, I feel bad for him, because some of his content's actually pretty good. It's usually just him going to YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform and finding a video of somebody telling on themselves and talking about it. And, you know, his community might get hurt if they really come after him hard like that. But hopefully he stays within the YouTube guidelines and they don't put any pressure on YouTube to demonetize him like they did with Pearl and Fresh and Fit, which I understand why they were demonetized. There's just some stuff that they've said and done that's just like, yo, what the hell? So you got to be careful what you say. So if I ever grow, then hopefully nobody can come back to my videos and say that I said any hate speech against any women or people of different, that identify as different things. I have nothing negative to say about anybody, man. I'm just a guy trying to encourage people to go to court and talk about custody situations and life in general. I'm not trying to say nothing negative. I try to be honest. I'm sorry if my honesty comes off as negative. I'm just being honest.